That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, I have some major announcements before we get into the video. First, if you play in a Dynasty Flock League, please reach out to me. I need to collect those league dues. League dues are required by January 20th if you want to guarantee your spot in the league in 2021. Please reach out. Let's get this sorted out because it's a pain to have to do this. And for everybody that has been asking to get into a Flock Dynasty League, those leagues are going to be starting to get filled either the 21st or the 22nd. So please, if you want to join a league, go down to the description of the video, click that Patreon link, join, support the show, shoot me a DM with why you want to be in a league. Every single person that is supporting on Patreon that wants to be in a Dynasty Fantasy Football League, you will be with myself and the other listeners of the channel. Cannot wait to crush y'all like I did in 2021. And lastly, the mock draft that I'm going to be talking about for this video will also be found on Patreon. Now for the mock draft, this is going to be for everyone. You don't just have to be a member of the Patreon. You don't have to be supporting there. It is for anybody who wants to view it. I just needed a nice place to put the screenshot. All right, well, let's get into this video and let's talk about some players that were overdrafted in this past Dynasty mock draft. And let's start it off with a player that y'all knew I was going to talk about. You knew if I'm talking about overvalued Dynasty players, he is going to be on the list. And this is Nick Chubb. Okay, so with Nick Chubb, he was selected at the very end of the first round of this Dynasty Startup Draft, which I'm fine with if this is going to be a one quarterback league. But no, this was a super flex league. So we had some quarterbacks going off the board in the first round like Patrick Mahomes, like Kyler Murray, that was pushing more talent to the back half of round one in the early part of round two. And Nick Chubb being selected with the 11th overall pick ahead of Josh Allen in a super flex league. To myself, it just does not make any sense. I mean, with what Josh Allen has been able to accomplish so far in 2020, I would easily take him over Nick Chubb. Also, being taken ahead of Lamar Jackson does not make sense for me, and Tyreek Hill. I mean, just a very bad pick for a running back that is going into a contract year. We know Nick Chubb is a good enough running back where he is going to either get assigned to an extension or he's going to hold out. I can guarantee you that Nick Chubb is not playing this upcoming year with that last year of his rookie contract. He is going to demand an extension. This team just decided to extend Kareem Hunt. So Kareem Hunt is guaranteed a spot on the roster for this upcoming season. Really not going to completely erase Nick Chubb's value, but is going to be something that definitely hurts it. Okay, so now our next player is going to be another running back, which you're going to find a very common trend throughout this entire video. And this is going to be Ezekiel Elliott. Okay, so here with Zeke, he fell significantly compared to where he was going in Dynasty Startup Drafts a year ago. I know with Zeke, you can make so many excuses on why he was unable to produce this past year. You can say it was because of the offensive line. You could say it was because having no Dak Prescott. And while both of those things are legitimate reasons why he was unable to produce in 2020 as he had done in prior years, we now know with Ezekiel Elliott that if he does not have that situation set for him, he is a low-end running back 2, high-end running back 3. I mean, it gets ugly. Ezekiel Elliott really has no burst anymore, no big play potential. He's being selected here ahead of Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders, a running back still on his rookie contract with a guaranteed 3-down role for the foreseeable future. With Ezekiel Elliott, you cannot say that. Also being selected ahead of Joe Burrow in a Superflex league and A.J. Brown as well. I mean, just very, very overdrafted in my opinion. I know a lot of people are going to be seeing this as a value, but we have to keep in mind, I don't know how many times I have to say this, these running backs, once they get off their rookie contracts, they can easily fall off a cliff at any second. I mean, we are looking at players that just taught us that lesson in Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, David Johnson. I mean, guys, please do not make the same mistake again. While most people are going to be seeing Ezekiel Elliott as a value here with the 11th pick in the second round in a Superflex league, I think this is a little too high. Okay, so now our next player we're going to talk about is going to be Mitchell Trubisky. Here, I'm going to spend maybe 15 seconds on Trubisky. If y'all go over, pull up the mock draft board, you'll see how ridiculous that selection was. I mean, ahead of so many solid players, but that's, I think, a homer pick. I think something that you're not going to see in any other Dynasty startup draft. So you don't need me to say why it's bad. But this next player, I mean, what are you doing? I don't want to offend anybody here, but still, Carson going off the board with the 5th pick in the 5th round. I don't care if you need a running back. This is not redraft. This is Dynasty Fantasy Football. You draft for value. You do not draft to fill your starting lineup. This is the #1 mistake that people who aren't used to playing in Dynasty leagues make, where they get into their Dynasty startup draft and go, okay, I need 2 running backs, I need 2 wide receivers, I need a flex, blah, blah, blah. No, guys, that is not how you should be attacking a startup draft. You need to be going, who is the best player available on the board here? Who has the most value, will have a nice 2021 season, and holds a decent amount of long-term security. And that's not what's happening here with Carson with the 5th pick in the 5th round, ahead of players that are significantly younger than him, like Chris Godwin, T. Higgins, ahead of players that have been elite producers in Terry McLaurin and Mike Evans. Carson is now off of his rookie contract. He has no contract coming up to this next season. We don't know if he's going to be in Seattle. Seattle has decided to draft a running back every single season since they had Carson, Rashad Penny in the 1st in 2018, following it up with DJ Dallas and Travis Homer in following years. I mean, guys, please, I think this is more of a need pick than anything, but in a Dynasty draft, we're going to be trading throughout the entire offseason. Take the wide receiver like a Mike Evans, who has so much more value, and then 3 months from now, you can trade Mike Evans for a running back plus some. Please, guys, do not be reaching on these running backs. Our next running back, someone else that someone reached on, Kareem Hunt with the 1st pick in the 6th round, ahead of some of these other wide receivers like an Allen Robinson, like an Amari Cooper, like a Juju Smith-Schuster, a Kenny Golladay. Guys, with these wide receivers, they last until their early 30s. I mean, they are at the top of their game until 28, 29. So you don't need to be worrying about an Amari Cooper falling off next year. You don't have to be worried about Allen Robinson not producing on whatever team he's on. What if he goes to Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, he has been playing with Blake Bortles and Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles throughout his entire career. I mean, taking a player like Kareem Hunt ahead of these wide receivers that could be elite producers is just how you lose leagues. I mean, Kareem Hunt has 1 year left on a deal that he just signed with the Cleveland Browns. Now, our next player is someone that does not have a contract guaranteed, and this is Kenyan Drake, going off the board with the 10th pick in the 6th round. I mean, going ahead of Chase Claypool, Brandon Ayuk, guys who just outscored him on a points per game basis after their breakouts their rookie season. And now they have their entire rookie contract to play out. And Kenyan Drake played under the transition tag this past year. He was very disappointing. There's no sign that the Arizona Cardinals are guaranteed to bring him back to that team. I mean, with Kenyan Drake, I would not be surprised if he is a second-string running back seeing 4 touches game this upcoming season. I know a lot of people don't want to admit it, but Kenyan Drake is a lot older than you'd expect, and it's because he wasted all of his prime years in Miami not doing anything. And now he's past his prime. He has no guaranteed contract. The NFL just washes these running backs out so fast, like these next guys that we're going to talk about that are getting washed out extremely fast. James Conner and David Johnson, I mean, being selected at the middle of the 8th round ahead of wide receivers like Cortland Sutton, DJ Chark. I mean, DJ Chark is about to get Trevor Lawrence throwing him the ball. Also, Tyler Lockett. We know that Tyler Lockett, yes, does not have a ton of long-term value, but he also has a guaranteed job this upcoming season. I would make a bet for any amount of money, literally, hit me up on Patreon, hit me up on Twitter, that David Johnson is not a top 24 running back this upcoming season. I mean, David Johnson, I would not be surprised if he was not a top 50 running back this upcoming season. I mean, James Conner, do I need to say more? Guys, please take these wide receivers. I don't even want to continue with this video because it's just the same thing over and over again. I mean, just a couple picks later, we have Leonard Fournette and Melvin Gordon going off the board at the beginning of the 9th. I mean, with Robert Woods, Jalen Reagor, Hollywood Brown, all still available. I mean, Melvin Gordon, Leonard Fournette, at the very best, are going to be low-end running back 2s this upcoming season. At the very best. Oh my God, guys. What are y'all doing drafting the running backs here? Our last running back that we're going to talk about, Gus Edwards, No contract for Baltimore this upcoming season. I mean, even when he was getting the workload, you still weren't starting him in your Dynasty League, even when Mark Ingram was out. And now he's being selected with the 5th pick in the 12th round, ahead of Bryan Edwards, ahead of Corey Davis. 4 rounds ahead of McCole Hardman. I'd rather have McCole Hardman straight up over Gus Edwards without even thinking about it. Guys, please, please, please. The one thing y'all need to take away from this video is at this point in Dynasty Leagues, I mean, once we get closer to the season, things will change, but there's no reason for you to be reaching on the James Conner, the David Johnson, the Leonard Fournette, the Melvin Gordon. Take the wide receiver with talent. Take the wide receiver that we know is going to have a job this upcoming season. You don't know this with these running backs. Oh my God. Okay, well, anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all take that one lesson away from it. If y'all have not already, make sure you go down there, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. And yeah, I hope I'll be playing with some of y'all in our own Dynasty Leagues soon.